I was going through Instagram, kind of already not having a good day, and this guy I follow on Instagram was posting how he was having a crappy day and how he kept on being misgendered, and nobody kind of accepted him. Well, nobody accepting him. So I thought I'd hop on the internet real quick and say how I cope with it and my strategies of doing so. So, if you have followed my story, or if not, here's a quick recap. I realized I was trans just before my 15th birthday, around there, February, March. And when I told people, nothing changed. I might as well not have told them. I got a bunch of, you're making this up, this isn't real, or, it just wasn't talked about. And I was having a real difficult time because I found out that I was trans because I saw other people on YouTube, which is great that they put their videos out. But sometimes it seemed so easy, like, oh cool, their family's on board with that. And none of my friends or anyone was. People said, if your friends can't accept you, ditch them. And I didn't do that. I thought, they might need time. It did take them a year when one of my friends who actually did accept me kind of pushed him like, hey, you should, call him Dylan because that's his name. But it took a long time for that to happen. It was pretty much exactly a year. Yeah. So what I did when I first realized was I went on this website. It was called Yearbook, or My Yearbook at first, and I think now it's called Meet Me, which was this teen friend / dating site. And I met a few friends and some people who wanted to date me, but I was like, eh. And I met this real cool guy who lives in my city, and we're still friends. We met up a couple times now. And he's a year older than me. And when I went into grade 10, I joined the GSA, and my teacher was like, hey, I met your friend, and he told me, that you're trans and stuff, which, like, the outing, I've always had problems with being outed by different people, but, it kind of gave me the kick in the butt that I needed. So she said, what do you want me to call you, and what pronouns? And I kind of said, oh, whatever. And she said, no, give me your name and pronouns. So I did, and I'm glad she told me to actually tell her, because although looking back at it, I regret even thinking for a second that I shouldn't. I was also nervous because the school I went to was a bunch of people from junior high, and people in the GSA I think I knew too. So I was nervous doing that, but I'm so happy I did, and GSA became my support group, Gay Straight Alliance. But if you don't have that in your school, try to reach out. YouTube's great. Anywhere else on the internet if you can. If you're worried about your parents finding out, chances are you have an iPod. Download Google Chrome, go on Ignito. Make sure you do your research on that though, because sometimes I think people can access the history, but most parents will not be able to do that since we are ahead with technology. Also, the school library, unless you live very deep in Texas, probably should have a resource or two. At least we do. First, the public library, so you can just go to the library. You don't even have to check out the book. You can just read it there. And usually the staff is more than welcome to help you. Also, just surround yourself with positive people. We have a Pride Center, and they have different events, like they have trans meetings and stuff. I've gone to one or two, but it seemed too cliquey for me. But at the same time, if I wouldn't have had any friends and felt like I needed some, I probably would have stayed there more. And the more you show up, the more people warm up to you. I haven't been good at making friends most of the time. People will just continue contacting me, and it's like, well, I guess we're friends now because you keep on wanting to hang out with me. And at this point, I have dropped most of my high school friends just because I realized we were only friends because we saw each other every day. There were some people who moved across the country, didn't bother telling me, so I was like, well, I know how important I am to you. When you make your profile status update on Facebook after you move, not saying, hey, want to meet up. But that's a different rant. You know who you are. Make sure you research when you're allowed to do things without parents. Because I'm currently on the waiting list to see a psychiatrist after I saw a psychologist, and after that I need to see an endocrinologist where everything can still go wrong and I might still be denied T because they measure your bone density and all that crap, which also if you're done growing, which I think is so crappy because there's so many people who start T when they're 16 and they're clearly not done growing yet. You still grow when you're 16. You don't just stop, unless your body does, but usually the most common one is that you are still growing, whether it would be, whatever gender you identify as or people see you as. Doesn't matter, you're gonna grow with 16 most of the time. And I found out that I could have seen the psychologist with 16 without permission, so I could have gotten ahead of the process and been on the waiting list. I would have been done now by the time I turned 18, so I could have probably been on T by last summer, which I regret, but no one told me, and I knew that I wouldn't have my family's support. I was scared, and I don't think I would have gone on T before being 18, unless it was just before I turned 18, just because I didn't want to get kicked out of the family. I don't know if they would have, but it would have caused a lot of problems. And they still haven't really moved along. I think they're slowly starting to, but it's been 3 years. You hear unaccepting stories. It's like, oh yeah, it took my mom a year, and that's when they're super Christian, super homophobic, and they tend to accept them at that point unless there's a complete cut-off. But there was no cut-off, there was just lack of communication, lack of even trying on one part. I mean, apparently my part too, but what am I supposed to try? I'm not gonna be okay with them not respecting me. And it's possibly slowly moving along, but we don't know yet. We'll just have to wait and see. Voiced with a psychologist who, if I report her, could possibly lose her license because my boyfriend's mom thinks she is going against the ethics, because she, for example, wanted me to do a trade-off with my mom, which I agreed to because I knew I wasn't going to be on T within 6 months in August, just because I was going on a 3-month trip, and the endocrinologist was supposed to be 2 months waiting. The other no, I don't know where I lost my train of thought. But it's just such a long waiting list and it wouldn't have made sense. So the trade-off was that my mom was supposed to call me he and Dylan, and I was not allowed to transition for 6 months. Originally they wanted to do 3 years because they think your brain still settles, and I'll change my mind. And I said, that is complete and utter bullshit, and I'm not doing that, because if I wait 3 more months, it sucks, but I can do 3 months, 3 years, that's double the time that I've already waited, and I don't think I'll make it that far at this point, because I am 18, I am able to do this, and I'm just gonna screw myself over if I follow that just in hopes that my mom will do it. I haven't heard her call me Dylan once, not in Germany when we were there with family, but that was also because it's like extended family or anything, but she's never called me in the house Dylan. She might have possibly said he once to my dog, but that's all the effort I got from that side. So it's like, at this point, I mean, I always got the worst part of the deal. I knew it was a terrible trade-off. My psychologist didn't think so, and neither did my mom. My mom thought she was giving more up. But, you know, even if I were to put this in the eye of the parent, it's not equal. No matter how you put it, it is not equal. And I would have gotten the short end of the stick anyways, but here I am being stuck, waiting for the psychiatrist, which was supposed to be a 6 to 7 month waiting list. At this point, it's month 8 or 9. I did message my psychologist, maybe she replied, just seeing if my number got lost in the system. There's only 2 psychiatrists here. One of them is retiring, so all their files are being transferred to the other person. And they have an age ranking system, so 16-year-olds will go before 17-year-olds and so on, which seems odd because I feel like at the point when you're not transitioned at 18 or older, you want to probably go into as soon as possible versus 16. Do I think it's important? Of course, but I think it's equally as important. I'm sure they have a system like if 16-year-old and 18-year-old get a referral in the same month, probably the 16-year-old will go ahead, but I'm sure that it won't do further than that. Although it still seems weird to me. So this is a long video and I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, I'm sorry your life sucks, and I can't promise and tell you it gets better right now, because I don't believe in saying that. Because what use is it to a grade 8er that it will get better once you're out of high school when you still have, 4 years to go? It's just not realistic. Just try to find your support group on the internet. In real life, you will find people who will love you for who you are, and they will support you. The rest don't matter, Some people suggest cutting toxic people out of their life. I stuck with them because they are my family, and it doesn't excuse what they have done or not done, but at the same time I didn't want to lose contact to my brother or dog, or my parents, I guess. But I was worried that I wasn't able to see my dog again and any of that. So that's the decision I made. I still don't know to this day if it's the right one. Probably not for my mental health, but that's how I did it. There is no right decision. Some are better for you than others. And if you need someone to talk to or rant to, message me on here, down in the comments, or on the channel page. And I can also give you your email if you inbox me. Are there still inboxes? Something like that, and we can talk like that, or kick or something. We can figure that out. So if you need a person, I'm here. I'm a trans guy, 18, stuck in not transitioning, and with unaccepting family and friends that took forever to come around, but eventually did. So that's me signing off. Have a great day and stay awesome.